Hello all, welcome to the SecurityTube Python Scripting Expert course and certification. My name is Vivek Ramachandran and I am the course instructor for the SPSE. This is Module 1, Python Language Essentials, and this is Part 1 in which we will look at an introduction to the Python language and also go about setting our working environment for the rest of this course. Python was created by Guido von Rossum in 1989, and now Guido works for Google in their App Engine team, and Python actually the biggest push in the industry is coming from Google. Now Python has gone through several versions, and Python 2 was released in 2000 while Python 3 was released in 2008. Unfortunately, Python 3 is not backwards compatible, and hence almost every program written for 2 would actually break in 3. Now, even though 3 was released all the way back in 2008, most libraries and a lot of interesting programs still use Python 2. So as the Python guys themselves state, 2 is still the status quo, while 3 is the present and the future. So why Python? Now to begin with, Python is an extremely powerful open source and multi-platform language, which means you can run it on Windows, Mac, Unixes and whatnot. At the very same time, the language has a rich set of libraries which can actually be used to do a lot of complicated tasks in an easy, efficient and extremely fast manner. There are a large number of open source tools already written in Python which we can leverage, and because of all of this, it is very easy to do rapid prototyping in Python. Now, these are different operating systems which support Python. Mobile platforms, you would typically need to install scripting packs and environments which will allow you to run Python code on them. Some embedded systems support Python. We'll take up some of these in later videos. Okay, there are different implementations of Python. The one we will use for this course is called CPython, or the reference implementation maintained by the Python guys themselves, which is Guido and team. There are other implementations such as JPython, which allows you to write Python code in Java, and then IronPython, which is Python and C#. You can look at these and many other implementations which are available in the link given below. Why Python and Infosec? Now, one of the key things I've faced over the last 10 years since I've been in security is that if you want to write proof of concepts really fast, you actually want a language which is high level, allows you to concentrate more on the business logic of the application rather than having to worry about the nitty-gritty details. Now Python, with its rich set of libraries and being an HLL, allows you to do rapid prototyping for almost every single case, at least I have personally encountered, in a matter of minutes. A language like C would essentially have taken me probably hours or days to write the same proof of concepts. There are also a ton of tools already written in Python which basically allows you to leverage them in your scripts for automation or even modify them. We will take up many examples during this course. Now, as far as Python being installed on different operating systems is concerned, Linux and Macs typically come preloaded with some version of Python or the other. Windows, you would typically need to install Python, the most popular being from ActiveState. Just Google them and you can download it. For most of this course, we will be concentrating on running Python on Linux-based systems and looking at various different things. However, we will also touch upon Python on different operating systems as case studies where we will look at interesting implementations. Okay, so now the big question, Python 2.7 or 3.x? Now, the thing is 3.x is definitely the present and future. However, almost most of the libraries which we are going to take up in this course do not yet support 3. And of course, eventually everything would have to support 3, but as even the Python guys mention in their website, it's going to take a couple of years before everything migrates to Python 3. And hence, in this course, we will emphasize more on 2.7. However, fear not, we will also take up 3.x and look at what are the subtle differences between both the languages and how to write code in both of them. The platform of choice which I would like to use for this course is Ubuntu Server, the 11.10 version which is out there, 64-bit. You could download any other Linux if you like. There's going to be hardly any difference. I've chosen the Ubuntu Server platform because it's readily available, pretty lightweight footprint, and of course a lot of you already love Ubuntu, right? So I personally would be running Ubuntu inside VirtualBox and would connect using a client like Putty. You could use anything else. So you can create your own environment. You could use Ubuntu Server, Backtrack, or anything else you like. However, I would recommend you use Ubuntu Server so that my configurations and whatever I do in my terminal would exactly be the same as to what you would be doing as well. At the very same time, there would be no surprises as far as conflicts with libraries and a ton of other things which could happen if you choose some other platform. Okay, so before I move into all the language syntaxes, what all is out there, let's do a customary hello world program. So I already have an Ubuntu running, and what I'm going to do right now is connect to it over SSH. I'm using a Mac, but you could do the same using your Windows PC as well. I'll leave that to you. If you have any questions on how to set up Ubuntu, write in the students forums. I could create another video on how to go about doing that as well, right? Okay, here it goes. Connecting to my brand new Ubuntu server system. And here I go, I'm in. Right, so let me create a little directory called Python, go inside that, and then create a directory called lesson 1, right, and again go inside that. Okay, so when you want to run Python scripts, there are typically two ways to do it. One is you can talk to the Python interpreter directly, or you can write a script and then invoke it as an executable. First, let's try and go ahead and interact with the interpreter. For that, just type in Python, and if you notice, what we are running on the system by default is Python 2.7.2, right? So if you want to type in hello world, the easiest way is to do print hello world, and there you go, it's printed hello world out. Now for people who are not familiar with any form of programming, what we've done is we are interacting with the Python interpreter program, giving it a command to actually print the string hello world and the output of what is printed in the next line. Similarly, you can print anything else you'd like. Welcome to the SPSE course, right? Now this is one of the ways, and in Python to quit you can either use quit with brackets or simply Control D. Now let's actually write a simple program inside a file which we will use. I'm going to use the Vim text editor for all the editing. You can use Pico or any other text editor you're comfortable with on a Linux system. So here goes Vim hello world.py. Now typically Python programs have the suffix py to indicate that they're a Python program. Now there are two ways to create a script. Let's say I can first type in just print hello world, save this, call the Python interpreter and give it the script we just created. And there you go, it actually runs and prints hello world, which is the interpreter goes ahead, parses every single line and executes that line, right? The other way is actually to go ahead and specifically mention in the script where your interpreter is. This is the path to where your Python program is. You can do a locate or a where is to find this path out. And then we can make this an executable by using chmod a+x, give it the file, and now we can execute this directly. And there you go. So what this statement here right on top tells the shell is which is the command interpreter which should be used, right? So this is important because if we actually change this to Pythons and then try running it, you would actually note that your shell tells you that this is a bad interpreter and no such file was actually found, right? Now the interesting thing is that if you use a hash in front of any line in Python, it is actually a comment, but it is actually a special character for your shell to interpret whatever is after that as the location of the interpreter. So let's say we can add a little comment saying, hey, this is a comment, and the script would still run perfectly, right? Fantastic. Let's go back to our presentation. Okay, so I would encourage you to install Ubuntu and go ahead and create your first customary Hello World program. And after that, go ahead and try this exercise out. Now, if you remember in the video, what we found that Python 2.7.2 was what was installed on your Ubuntu system. The exercise is to install Python 3, and then here's a quick question. How can you quickly switch between both versions of Python? Because as I've told you, the 2.x is different from 3.x, not drastically in the syntax, but definitely enough differences that your scripts won't work across both versions. So how do you switch on the same system between different versions of Python, both using the console interpreter as well as within your script? And finally, third, I would encourage you to explore a package in Python called virtual env. Google it, search for it, read through it. This is something extremely essential if you would like to run different versions of Python on your system. And this is something I can assure you we will do time and again during this course. That's all for this video. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please post them in the student forums and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.